Billy, what did you make of that? They were pretty dominant in midfield, the Blues.
Yeah, they were much better than us. I feel pretty flat, to be honest, about our performance. Look, obviously New South Wales were much better than us, so I'm not taking anything away from them, but I think the flatness comes from how we hurt ourselves. Very ill discipline in the first half, and then that just snowballed against us, and we didn't see the best of this Queensland team tonight, and that's what I'm most disappointed about.
Billy, normally up here you jump out, you're vibrant, excited, the crowd's big, but just seem to be a bit like your personality, I guess, a bit flat the whole game. Is that fair?
Yeah, it doesn't just happen. You've got to make it happen, and we weren't prepared to make it happen, the tough way tonight, so too many leg ups, too many penalties, a few errors, and that part of the game New South Wales did better than us. It's pretty simple. If you don't have the footy, you make it really tough on yourself. I can't question the effort and the commitment that the team have. It's a tough game out there. It's not easy to play that sort of game, and they kept hanging in there and kept turning up for each other, and but we just made it way too hard for ourselves.
What about your attack? Really, were you disappointed with it, or do you think it was a byproduct of just the pressure?
Bit of both. Yeah, bit of both. Disappointed that we couldn't get what we practiced on enough, and at the same time it's a byproduct of not having the footy and being fatigued and under a bit of pressure. So yeah, a bit of both.
What do you put it down to, Billy? Can you explain why it happened? Because look, you wouldn't have thought you'd play like this tonight.
Yeah.
But how do you see the whys of what
No, I
happened?
can't right now, Joel. That's probably something for the review and looking through the tape and obviously sitting down with the group. That's at the end of the day, it's got to come from the players.
Do you look to make changes for game two?
Sorry?
Do you look to make changes for game two?
Oh, that sort of stuff. Like every game, you sit down and you review it and you go and take a breath and you let the players go back and play footy. They got a couple of games over the next week and a half, and that's not a decision or probably a conversation for now.
Billy, how disappointed are you by the back-to-back losses at Suncorp in the nature of them, and one try in 2 games?
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good stat, and that's probably just as disappointing as the performance tonight.
Do you think it's a personnel thing, Billy, with your forward pack? What I mean by that is the makeup that you've got of that with the bench as well.
Yeah.
Just being completely out muscle with the Blues, or is it an attitude thing when you're out there?
To be honest, I don't actually think it's either. I definitely don't think it's a personnel thing. Like I know what this team's capable of, and that's why you can probably see I'm disappointed, because they haven't played their best footy, and I feel responsible to try and help them get there. So it's definitely not a personnel thing. To be honest, they've had a great attitude as well, but to the discipline side of the game, the attitude wasn't good enough. No.
What about Robert Toyer? Billy, it was a bit of a bright spot. What did you make of his debut tonight? Yeah,
really good. I actually expected him to play like that. He's it's been a pleasure to get to know him over the last week and a half. He's a great young man, really humble and respectful. He values the parts of the game that are not brilliant, but that's why he's in this position, and I thought his debut was great, so he can hold his head up high.
Daly, as a halfback, what do you make of the attack the last 2 games?
Yeah, I think disappointing's the best word to explain it. So, especially where we've played the last 2 games, to only walk away with 1 try, there's a bit of work to do there.
Billy, halfway through that second half, you seemed almost to be in the game there.
Yeah.
How close do you feel the team was, and what were you thinking about that time, about 15 minutes into that second half?
Close enough on the scoreboard, but not close enough in terms of the way that we were playing. There was still game on at half time, but we needed to change things, and we didn't change them enough. So it might look close, but in terms of how close were we to play our best footy, we were nowhere near it.
Billy, what was the go with Tino? He just seemed really emotional pre-game, like a bit teary-eyed after the anthem and just before kick-off. Was there anything sort of more to that?
No, not that I know of. Tino hasn't played State of Origin, for 2 years. He missed last year's series and obviously missed the whole heap of footy last year. And one thing I do know about Tino is I know this means a whole heap to him, and sometimes you can't hold that back. So maybe that was something to do with it.
It's obviously the dirty injuries that came out of that one that you know of.
No, I've spoken to the players, but maybe a few bumps and bruises. No one looked to have any serious injuries, but I couldn't tell you, to be honest.
Billy, what did you make of the decision on the stroke of half time with the sin binning? Did you think it sat right with the situation there, that was handled correctly, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was about right. We all, it was either a penalty try or a sin bin, so the fact that Xavier didn't probably take clean possession probably weighed towards a sin bin rather than penalty try. I've no concerns about that.
So are you hoping that Billy shows faith in you and that you as captain can turn this around?
Yeah, definitely. I guess with losing comes the question, so we've opened ourselves up to these sorts of questions, but yeah, I'd love the opportunity to come back and correct it.
Billy, what's it going to take to win in Perth?
Probably some decisions from the playing group. I've just spoken about the discipline side of the game, and that's a choice. Probably a shift in that to start with, and I'll look at my preparation as well. So, I'm not out of this. It's not just the players; it's everyone, and we'll all look at ourselves. And I know there's so much more in this footy team. So it's a series of 3, best of 3. You only got to win 2 games, and that's still alive. So we'll be going after it.
Happy with the refereeing, Bill?
Yeah, I haven't got a problem with the refereeing.
Daly, just on the attack, and where do you think you can turn that around coming into the next game? Where do you think you can get those points from?
As Bill sort of mentioned, when you're real disciplined, you put yourself under a lot of pressure. So we gave them a lot of possession, we missed a lot of tackles, and then we put ourselves under scoreboard pressure. So starting next game with better discipline is definitely going to help us.
Jeremiah Noah is probably your best attacking weapon. Must be impressed with how he's turned his season around.
Yeah, he's playing well. Back there on that right-hand side, which is probably his favourite side to play. He's a wonderful player and showed real commitment tonight. Chased plenty of high balls, made some really crucial tackles. So, I thought he was good.
It was particularly uncharacteristic performance from Harry Grant, I thought, especially in that first half. What did you sort of make of that? Any reason behind it? He hasn't played a lot of footy lately, but...
That might have something to do with it. Like many of our players, Harry wasn't at his best tonight, unfortunately, and but he wasn't on his own.